Hey everybody, it's Liquid Lunch on it's August. It's pretty hot today, but we're here.
It's not bad.
The air conditioner is running. It's not too bad. Daryl is my co-host. Daryl,
Hello, hello.
thanks for coming down today.
Thank you.
You having fun yet?
I'm having fun.
Well, actually,
all good.
it's more than just fun, but because we got Franco here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We got your real name that we're going to put up on the screen.
Yeah.
Fareed Hindawi, and that SoundCloud address. You can listen to some of Fareed's music.
Yeah.
And you're going to be performing at the Raw Artist Show at the Mod Club.
Yeah. On the 18th of August this month. It's gonna be on the Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What time do you go on?
I'm gonna be on from 9 to 9:30.
Okay, and also we got some video we're gonna play at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it original music that we're gonna watch?
So the beat was actually produced by a producer named Bureaucratic, and I actually got in contact with him just over Facebook. I loved his jazz style, and we just sort of connected on that. And literally, he sent me the one song and wrote that song to it, and it just like blew up from there. And my friends were like, "Okay, we got to do a video for this." And like a month later, we were already shooting out in the street and
Very cool.
over here in Dundas Square, actually, not too far. So yeah.
So is he from Toronto?
Bureaucratic? No,
Yeah.
he's from. It's gonna slip my mind right now. I believe it's Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a state's
All right.
producer.
Now, did you know when he sent you the beat? Did you know what it was, or did you just want one of his beats?
I just wanted him to send me something that he thought I could like go for it on, and as soon as I started listening to it, I was like, "Yep, that's the one," and it just kind of took off from there.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna look forward to that. But first, we're gonna talk about what you're doing, because I heard you in the waiting room. You said it's a conscious hip hop. Is that what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, a lot of people. There's just so many like different names for it, but I like to go by conscious. But a lot of people call it like political hip hop. But basically, for me, it's hip hop with a purpose.
Yeah.
It's doing hip hop in a way that like you're trying to convey a message and it's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that message is just hanging out in the sun, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just feel like hip hop and rap has gotten so tangled and just sort of flat. There's not a lot of like drive and passion to it. It's just kind of like partying and hanging out and like there's a place for it in the music, but it shouldn't be 100% of the content.
So you think you're going back to some of the roots of hip hop with this?
I'm trying to, because I love 80s, 90s, like boom bap hip hop. That's my jam. Anytime I hear that kind of a beat, it just like immediately I start tapping my feet. I can't help it.
Because usually people cite like NWA, Nas, stuff like this as really good conscious political hip hop. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I would definitely go for Nas. Like Nas has some tracks that like I can listen to on repeat and be blown away every time. He's got some lyricism that is unbelievable. Music is great always. I believe it's What Goes Around. That's one of my favorite songs. And he has a chorus in there describing how like a lot of the things that we do are poison. And it's catchy, but it's also conveying such a smart message, and I think we just need a lot more of that. Thankfully, I feel like Kendrick Lamar and a couple of the other guys are starting to kind of be those people, which is good.
Well, and that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You're bringing. That's what your art's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the Unified Toronto concept. That's what we saw on your SoundCloud address. Can you tell us about what that's all about?
So I started. So basically, a couple years back, I was in Egypt during the revolutions, and I saw just how people worked together for a common goal and to get things sorted. Don't get me wrong, it didn't really turn out the way that they hoped because there wasn't much of a plan for afterwards, but the basic concept of coming together for like this one goal and getting it accomplished was like a really inspiring thing for me. And I just feel like in music and in a lot of what we do, we're very individualistic. It's like, what can I do to push my career forward to get this like going? And it just, I find it very frustrating because I think, I said this a little bit earlier, but human progress is so necessary for collaboration. Like collaboration is necessary for human progress, because otherwise it's just everybody trying to do their own thing. And when you can work together for this common goal, it's just works out so much better. So Unify Toronto is just any artist, any photographer, any person who likes art, contributes to an idea, even people who are, you know, PR organizers, anybody like that. Unify Toronto is just a collaborative group that gives us the space to work together instead of being individuals in such a like individualistic society.
So how close to realization is the idea? Are you working with other artists and other promoters and so forth?
It's started to roll a little bit now. More producers are starting to get on board. There's a couple artists that have been interested recently, so things are definitely moving in that direction. The biggest thing that I'm finding difficult is just that there's honestly no platform for musicians to communicate on. It's very word of mouth, you know, like meet somebody on the street, which is great. I love doing that. I love being like, oh, you're a musician, great, let's get in contact and like give the card and just sort of figure that all out. But it's definitely a tough process.
Yeah. So what I mean, it makes me ask, like, what kind of platform? You know, and that's a very generic word, but what kind of platform would work? Would it be a physical location or a Facebook page or a?
It could be a physical location, but I think honestly even a Facebook page, because it like
or something else. I mean,
yeah, like
I don't want those two to even be the answer, right?
Absolutely, but some sort of communication, even a website, anything, because it's just there's no avenue for musicians to get in contact with each other. And to communicate about things like, you know, how do I go and seek out a venue and things like that. So I know that like there's a lot of amateur musicians that I talk to that are just struggle with figuring out, you know, what to do when you're approaching a venue. Like, do you talk to the booking manager? Do you give them an email? What do you do? And a lot of people are just sort of get paralyzed by all of this, like, what should I do? And just sit still. And there's a lot of like great music that doesn't get out there because of that.
So where have you been performing mostly?
So mostly it's been kind of like small bar-ish venues. I like the more intimate scenes, honestly. Like we get a smaller bar and then just pack it because like it's more fun that way, and people are listening more because you really can't do much else other than pay attention. But honestly, yeah, we've had some really good ones. We did. I did one with a bandmate, a friend of mine. His band's name is Luma, and we did one at Supermarket. It was great. We had at least like, let's say 140 people in that back room, and like, it was really good. It was
what night of the week was that? I'm just curious.
It was a Thursday, if I remember.
And you had how many acts altogether? Did you have the whole venue for the whole evening?
Yeah, there was 3 of us. We were all friends. It was my friend Connor. He's in a post-rock band called Luma, and another roommate of ours who's also a friend. His name's Corey Kameda, and he does kind of like folksy stuff. And then I came on and did hip hop. So it was a really like diverse night.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people really, really enjoyed about it is there was something there for everyone, and everything was interesting no matter what.
So people are receptive to the folk and the hip hop all the same time.
Yeah, I found honestly, and I actually had a couple people come up to me after the show and be like I loved how you guys set the show up in such a like kind of just like all over the place with genres, because you don't normally see that kind of a thing on a bill. It's pretty like.
And I think people are open to that nowadays. That you know, people aren't just tied into one preference of musical style.
Yeah.
You know, they can handle a little bit of diversity.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any? We got the video, but do you have like CDs out or albums out that people can download or anything like that?
I've got a small EP out on the SoundCloud there. It's called Reason to Reach. It's just 5 songs at the moment. We're looking at a bigger release towards the end of the summer. We're up to about, I think, 16 songs now in total. So those 5 songs are definitely need to be updated. So we're looking at a release for the end of the summer. But Reason to Reach is the one on SoundCloud at the moment, and that's the original. It's got Peace for $1, the one that's the music video on. And,
So what's the song in your head that's waiting to come out right now?
Honestly, it's Heart of a World. It's
going to be about.
It's basically it's like old school hip hop, like, and the fact that like boom bap beats sound a little bit like a heartbeat. So it's kind of like trying to wake up the heart of the world, get people to pay attention again with this boom bap hip hop beat. So it's kind of like a little like play on that. But that's why the song is called Heart of the World, and yeah, it's a pretty good song. It's my favorite so far.
Reminds me of a Grateful Dead song with the lyrics, "You are the eyes of the world."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like we're kind of talking about it a little bit outside. It's just that the youth are kind of being not looked at so much anymore for inspiration, but they're learning so much from the internet that they're not paying attention to anybody else who's trying to tell them what to do. So yeah, we're in an interesting stage right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you were there in Egypt for the uprising or whatever,
it was
Arab Spring or whatever it was, and then you're back in Toronto now, and with your comments about young people and how they're reacting to the world events, the interesting stage that we're in. Where do you think we're at? Like, I mean, are we close to something similar happening in Toronto or in Canada or in North America?
I've had this conversation a couple times, and I don't think Canadians would do it for one reason. Canadians don't get angry enough. That's what it is. I think that we could move to that if we collaborated, but I think we're very like whatever about things, because for the most part things are okay.
You know what, I saw a poster to illustrate that. It was like a Canadian riot. That was the caption, whatever. And it showed some like, little old lady holding up a sign that said, "I'm a little upset."
Yeah, exactly. And it's not to appropriate that stereotype at all, but I think that we're very comfortable in our lives.
What do you protest against? What is there to oppose?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And like there is issues that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
But I don't know if protesting them would be the right avenue of solving the problem. Right. Like I think it would if anything.
I mean, that is a good point. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're talking about doing meaningful change, that's really what we're all about here at that channel. But how do you do it, right? Do you fight the existing system? Yeah. Or somebody said, you can't solve the problems at the same level that they're occurring. You've got to expand the frame of reference and solve it there.
Yeah, I think what I try to do is, and I know it's not always great to do this, but I try to look outside of the box, almost outside of the vein of like possible solutions, because it gives you more room to find that solution that sounds pretty crazy but might actually work in the long run. And yeah, I think that's the tough thing is there's a lot of yellow and red tape in this world. A lot. Policies, this, that, the other, contracts, we love legality.
Well, I think systems too, like the government or the bureaucracies or whatever, they tend to just grow to the point where they're dysfunctional, right? And that it's not about reforming those systems. Those systems will inevitably fall apart.
Agreed.
But you need to have new systems that are going to be there to pick up the slack. And one example I see is like the monetary system, for example, U.S. $20 trillion debt.
Yeah.
Never going to be paid back.
No.
But now we have cryptocurrencies coming up, right?
Yeah.
That we could easily move to almost overnight.
But it would cause all of these countries to go, okay, but now what do we do?
Countries themselves might be obsolete.
That's right. And that's the thing is it gets so deep so quickly.
It does.
So quickly. It's
we still got a couple minutes left here. Yeah. So, I mean, if you had to, because it seems to me you're not just about the music. You're really about,
just
addressing
world change,
world issues, right? Community issues. Like, what would you do? Like, you've obviously thought about this a lot. Like, when you look around, like, what prescriptions would you recommend?
The best thing I've found so far, and it's very small, and it only works day by day, And if you've seen the movie Pay It Forward, you know exactly what I'm gonna say. It's honestly, it's every moment. It's when I see a homeless person, sometimes I'll walk past them, and I have to be like, I'm walking past. Realistically, I don't know what they're gonna do with that money. If I just go give them that $1, then I've given the opportunity for something good to happen. Maybe something bad happens, but I've given them the choice. And so I think, like, honestly, the best thing that I've found is just every moment trying to do something for somebody else. And, like, you know, if somebody's walking on the subway and it looks like you guys are about to crash into the door together, you know, let that guy go. It's the simple thing. Because if we're all doing the simple things, life just opens up so quickly. And honestly, life opens up quickly when you're just doing that for yourself. You find people will react to you better. There's more friendliness in the world when you open yourself up to it.
Right. Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Builds.
Exactly. And it's the idea, like, you know, like wavelengths and mind frames that work together, find each other. And I totally think that's true. Because, like, even in the past 2 years, I mean, I've been doing music for 4 years, but even just looking at the past 2 years, the amount of interactions that are so coincidental that it's almost unbelievable to say that, like, there's not some sort of underlying purpose to the way that humans work with each other. It's weird when you see it, but it's there.
Yeah. You stumble into something and say that's the right fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Close up everything else. Yeah.
And that's like you're saying, the right fit. That's the thing, is when you find that right fit, it's very just like, oh, that's here. This is where I was supposed to be. And so it's. I know it's tough to find for some people, but when you can find it, that's.
Yeah,
that's where
I mean, it seems that when stuff kind of falls together almost magically or naturally, and you're not really working too hard at it. That's when it feels right.
Exactly.
This is what's supposed to happen.
It's like you're putting the effort there, but almost like you're stepping into a boat and someone is just like pulling that boat along at like tugboat speed.
Yeah. For people, and you mentioned some people, you know, it's not so easy for them to find that.
I think it's just the reason I say that is my family struggles and I myself as well, and like lots of friends in high school struggled with mental health, and it's such a big thing nowadays that our own brain is defeating us, and it's tough. It's really tough sometimes to conquer your own self.
You know, I mean, and then there's the whole issue: are we really in charge of ourselves? Is it all our mental attitude that creates everything around us, or are we being, you know, I don't know if you're aware. Are we being attacked or influenced by things like chemtrails, if they exist, or whatever, right? You know, or just nasty forces that aren't on our side, right? You know, I mean, what do you think?
Honestly, it's like, it's tough to say because there's so much information out there, and, you know, I'd really like to say that I don't believe that there's chemtrails, and I don't believe that but honestly, I'm not going to lie, I do believe that, you know, I believe that there's people who want to experiment and find ways to conquer humans in ways that we haven't done it before. And those type of people do operate in higher levels of government. I don't know if government itself is evil, but I know that governments can very easily be corrupted. And I saw that in Egypt. Like, you know, you see this, like, kind of like, it's almost like hot potato past the president, like, you know, because no matter who's in it, somebody's going to get blamed for this problem, and it's really difficult with all of the institutions right now to kind of figure out what is true and what's not, and there's so many news and media. It's like, who do we believe, right? It's really difficult.
So obviously, I mean, given all that, which may or may not, we don't really know. That's really happening or not, but you know, but you've obviously got a great attitude, and your music is all about, you know, trying to do something good, despite whatever circumstances you're in. You know, what would you know, what's your secret, or what would you suggest to other people that are maybe struggling with dealing with all that?
I know it sounds like I'm sure people have heard it before, but it's like it's finding those little things. that joke your coworker said that was actually really funny. Hold on to that moment. Maybe when you're feeling down, try to think about that joke again. It's like, I found that because I was in difficult situations when I was younger, I found that I'd look for the light in the little things, and that was the only time that I'd feel genuinely happy, is when I stopped just getting overwhelmed by this huge gray bubble that we're all living under, and just kind of like looked around at what was going on. And my girlfriend's always saying this. She's like, just be present in the moment, and she's right. It's being present in the moment, and just like accepting things as they come, enjoying the little things, and being present in the moment. That's what I would say.
Okay, cool. So, well, Fareed, this has been an awesome conversation, and it's really good to meet you, and I wish you all the best.
And
maybe we'll be working together or doing something in the future.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a little bit of talks about a hip-hop night happening in Toronto. We'll see what's happening. Maybe we'll have some recurring hip-hop. I'd be excited for that.
Some positive vibes, right? But in the meantime, people can see you perform at the Mod Club on the 18th, Friday night. What time are you going on stage?
I'm going on at 9. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be a half an hour set. I'm going to say half an hour, but I know how those shows go. It might end up being 45, but it should be half an hour.
Okay. And we're going to actually get a little taste of you, and now we're going to play your video. And we got your SoundCloud up there, so people can go and check out your tracks there. But do you have a website or anything as well? Like when you do release the album, how people can...
So unifytoronto.com.
Oh, you got that?
Website. I do have it.
Nice.
I have it. I know. Good snag, right?
Yeah. When did you get that?
Oh, God.
A long time ago?
A little while ago, yeah.
Okay.
I hopped on it pretty quick.
That's a good one, though.
But it's still under construction at the moment. Yeah. But as soon as that is up, that's going to be like the avenue of communication for any kind of Unified Toronto events, anything like that.
Well, people could be watching this not today, sometime in the future when the site is going full blown, so people can check that out.
Yeah, and, definitely.
I just want to say thanks for coming in today.
I appreciate that. I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
So here's the video. This is Franco. And we're going to be back in a couple minutes with more right here on LiquidLunch.channel.com.
Peace for $1, dollar for a cent. Money runs the world, but it makes no sense. Strapped in a system, buried in debts. I'm fixing this fiction, it's got me scratching my head. And we've been missing the mission because we're fearing our deaths. When it's also a suspicion like there's life after death. So tell me, do I leave it all in hopelessness when I have hope that this could give us an age of bliss? So let me propose an idea to you. The media is constant manipulating the youth, and the truth is hiding here in the things that we do. So if you're searching for the path, not a mask, the collapse is coming, and I hope that you're ready to snap. Cause the plane's going down, yeah, it's headed for the ground. So I've set up and I'm ready to crash. Though my energy envelops me, so I can see that I am free. The mind of sweet society lied to me, so I will be a bestial monstrosity. Without a college law degree, I spit this knowledge lawlessly and flawlessly. While hypocrisy is noxiously evading all my thoughts and greed bleeds into the haunting dreams I'm living every time I sleep. So I just need a little rest, cause my bones are cold, and too many sold and sold in the pursuit of gold. Damn man, this is getting so old. It's time to make way for the age of the bold. It's time to change and rearrange the game, cause we play it our own. I'm in the zone and I'm hearing my phone, cause that's my cue, man. It's time for me to go, but take heed, yeah, cause these are words of flow.